Planetary. Okay. The title of this video is Planetary Preachers in the Earth that is flat. Now just, kind of hear me out on this. I discovered that we don't live on a spinning ball flying through space, revolving around the sun and all that. I discovered that that's a lie back in 2015, in June of 2015. So next month, it will be 9 years that I've known that we do not live on a globe. Okay. I found out that the earth is really flat and stationary with a firmament or a dome over it, and the sun and the moon go around. The sun moves, the earth does not move. And I remember in school, I remember thinking, they're teaching me the sun comes up and the sun goes down, sun rises, sun sets, because the earth is spinning. And I could never make sense of that in my mind, because as a little boy, I spent most of my time outside, and I could see the sun coming up over here in the morning, and I could see it going down over there in the evening. And I'm like, what's that have to do with the earth spinning? You see what I mean? So when I found out, well, that's a lie, the sun really does move, well, that makes sense. Doesn't it just make so much more sense? But I've known these things for 9 years. I know the whys, I know the hows. I learned more about heliocentricity studying flat earth than I ever learned anywhere else. I didn't even know what I believed. And it's just, I just accepted. It's like that quote from the Truman Show, we accept the reality that we're presented. Well, you're born into this world, and you're presented, your reality, Anyway, the earth is flat, period. It's indisputable. You don't have to prove it. You could look at it and see it. If you want to prove it, it only takes one proof to prove something true. Water is always level when at rest, period. It does not curve, cannot curve. I learned about flat earth from the old Marine Vaughn back in June of 2015. I was looking for information on Jade Helm 15, if y'all remember that. And I figured, well, I just found his channel, and I figured, well, he's an old Vietnam vet. He might know something, insightful. And me and Debbie, we was watching him one night, and he starts talking about how the earth is flat, and there's a dome over us, and we just looked at each other and laughed And I specifically remember saying, either this dude is either on too many meds or he needs some more. You know what I mean? But we already knew that they lie about everything else. Well, we knew some of their lies. Let's put it that way. We knew they lied about some little things like the JFK assassination. They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin. They lied about that little thing, 9/11. They told a few white lies there. And, so we knew they'd lie. And I already knew about Operation Paperclip and stuff like that. I didn't know all the details about it. But so, knowing that, we looked into it. And this is 2015, man. It was like the Wild West of the flat earth, man. Everybody and their little sisters making flat earth videos because it was catching on. You know what I'm saying? People were starting to literally wake up to the fact that, yeah, we have been lied to. We don't live on a globe. We live on a flat stationary plane. Okay? And we started out like everybody else. Eric Dubay and his, 200 proofs, and there was Mark Sargent, and we, and that was very helpful. They're just little facts, like rivers can't run uphill. No, airplanes don't tip their nose. If they didn't tip their nose constantly going around a ball, they'd just fly straight off into space, right? Hey, this stuff made sense to me. It's reasonable. Think about it. And then, on and on. And I remember Tiger Dan. We used to watch Tiger Dan, man. And he started working on a flat earth map. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of disappeared, man. I don't know what happened to him. But, you just look up one flat earth video, and then all your next would be more flat earth videos. And it was just, and we were like sponges, in the beginning, man. I think I just shut off. Not now. It's still counting, so I must still be here. Anyway, bottom line, the information has been out here for, let's say, 10 years. I think the CIA put it out around 2014, and I think they did put it out. They wanted it out. The internet is their platform. It was designed by the military. Come on. It's another way to socially engineer you, just like the television was and is. Just like music, movies, But I think Flat Earth backfired on them a little bit, man. It's not new. This Flat Earth movement is not new. And I'll tell you why I say that. It's because when the Roman Catholic Church started promoting the Copernican theory back in the 1500s as part of the Counter-Reformation, the reformers, men like Martin Luther, Calvin, and others, were already writing against Copernicanism. You can look this up. This is historical facts. okay, that I've verified through more than one source. Let's put it that way, because when I research something, I just don't, well, so and so says this, oh, well, that's gospel. No. Okay, so and so says this. Who else is saying this? What else are they saying about this? Are the stories matching up? You know what I mean? That's biblical, by two or more witnesses that that be established. I can't quote it like I should be able to quote it, but you know what I mean. So they were writing about it back in when it was just first being reintroduced. It goes back to Babylon. Sun worship goes all the way back, man. That's what it is. Heliocentric, sun in the middle. We all revolve around the sun. Yeah, right. We. Yeah. They were speaking out against it in the 1800s. Books have been written on it. Since the 1500s, books and papers and whatnot have been written on the fact that we live on a flat stationary plane. Period. So this is nothing new. That's what leads me to believe that, the CIA or whoever put it out on the internet. I think Eric Dubé was in the CIA. He lived in Washington for a little while, I guess. And you could see what he did. He introduced it. And then he came out and made himself look like a freaking crackpot. He made himself come out, because I remember, he used to dress up in women. He went for a little spell there. He was dressing up in women's clothing and pretending to be Patricia Steer. Remember her? Flat Earth and other hot potatoes. I used to follow her, not because of her. I didn't really care about her. I wanted to see the people she was interviewing, because she was interviewing just small-time Flat Earth Channel people, man. And that's when I was still in the learning stage, and I want to get every little piece of it. I was like a sponge, man. Let me hear more. What else you got? And he comes out with his what was it called? I don't know. I've never watched it. His thing about Hitler, a Jew world order or whatever. Yeah, I never watched that because I don't follow Eric Dubé, but that made him look like an anti-Semite. You see where I'm coming from? Yeah, he brought it out. Yeah, he did a lot of good. But then all of a sudden he looks like an idiot, which makes other flat earthers look like an idiot, which makes the movement look like an idiot. The movement. You know what I mean? So I say all this, and I haven't even said all I want to say. My point is, flat earth has been out for a while. It's been out so long, actually, that they've had to squash it, because it ain't like the Wild West now, man. You start talking about flat earth, you're going to be shadow banned, and you're going to be They got this army of trolls or shills. I don't know the difference between a troll and a shill, so I just call them internet assholes. Okay, I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that's what they are. They're internet assholes. And all they do is squash out the truth. Okay, I believe they have warehouses of people sitting at a desk with just table, just rows of people in front of computers, just sitting there trying to squash out the truth. You know, they have to be being paid for it because there's people out there, like, say, I'll give you an example. There's a small channel I always followed, and he talks about flat Earth. You know, he discovered it, and he's out there sharing it. And I respect him for it. But he gets, he had this one dude just constantly getting in his comments and blah blah blah. And the dude, he would go make videos on this guy's small time flat Earth channel, and he would play clips from the video of things he said, and just sit there and comment on it and demonize it and poo-poo it and use all this science nonsense to refute it, which he can't because he can't refute the truth. But his life is that empty. He would spend all it takes a lot of time to make video and edit it and blah blah blah. See, and he's putting out like one or two a day. So either this guy's life is so freaking empty that's all he could do is just sit around and demonize somebody else's channel on YouTube, or he's getting paid to do it. You see what I'm saying? Because it got so bad, the guy literally threatened the dude's channel over flat Earth. Threatened his family. Threatened him. Now, how's he get away with this? How do you public threaten somebody and threaten their family? And, well, that's no big deal. Maybe you got some protection from your employer. I'm just saying, man. They had the congressional thing, like, what are you going to do if somebody gets on and makes a video about theirs is flat? Well, we're going to come up with a banner. So now you got banners for everything. They got the Flat Earth banner, the New World Order banner, the COVID banner. So this information's been out for a while. So, and I'm over it, I don't study it like I don't need to. I follow a few flat Earth channels, but it's not even something I believe. It's something I know. It's something I see. It's something I can prove. It's a fact. And so I'll be watching other stuff, researching other stuff now. And I listen to a lot of so-called preachers, okay, in various, I don't get too crazy, but, various denominations, or I'll hear whatever historian or biblical scholar giving a talk or lecture. I listen to more lectures and talks than I do sermons. And they'll be spot on. They'll be spot on. They'll be, saying stuff that I've heard in other places and verified through other sources. And, I'm like, yeah. And then they'll say, all over the planet. Or they'll say something, throughout all the galaxies of the universe. I heard one the other day say, on this earthly globe. What the heck does that even mean? I'm like, oh my goodness. What is going on with these Protestant preachers? Some of them know the history of the Roman Catholic Church and the Jesuits and all that. And they'll stand, every single one of them will stand there and refute evolution. God created this earth. He created this planet. He created the galaxies of the universe. There wasn't no Big Bang. God created all that. After this, the flat earth. See, I think God has shined, the Holy Spirit has shined the light of truth of the flat earth on us. Whether he used the CIA or whatever to do it, the internet to do it, he has shined that light of truth on us. You see what I'm saying? These preachers had to have heard about it. You mean to tell me this preacher has 2,000 people in his congregation and not one of them has ever come up to him privately and said, hey, I seen this video about flat earth. What's that in biblical cosmology? What's all that about, preacher? You mean to tell me they ain't never heard of it? They're all on the internet. They all have Wi-Fi in their church buildings. They all have computers. They all have smartphones. You mean to tell me that these preachers haven't come across biblical cosmology? That's what I prefer to call it, by the way. Instead of flat earth, it's biblical cosmology is what it is. But you mean to tell me they haven't heard about it at all? Come on. It's just really weird. It's really weird how any man can know so much about the Bible and so much about history and still believe a lie of Satan perpetrated by man. It amazes me. It's just like a pet peeve to me. And when I hear these preachers say like globe and planet and galaxy and blah, 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 it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Oh, well, I'm getting a little long-winded. That's my point. It's, think about this. Why is this so? Cat's out of the bag, man. How come every preacher in America or all around the world is not behind their pulpit saying, hey, we have been deceived, and explain where we live as opposed to the lie of where we live? How come they ain't doing that, man? I think it's all about money. That's what I think. Because there was one preacher we used to follow, me and Deb, we used to follow him because he was into like conspiracy theories, you know. And, you know, he would talk about like current events and stuff. And I don't want to mention any names and nothing against, you know, Charles Lawson or nothing. But he came out one sermon and talked about flat earth. And he gave all these proofs, the same proofs I've seen, right off the stinking internet. Okay. And he never said yay or nay whether he believed it or not. But you could tell he was leaning toward it. And in the very next sermon, probably the very next Sunday, he came out and literally cursed and damned the flat earth concept. And this went on for a while. I'm like, oh my goodness. I was so happy. Watched the next sermon, and I was so let down, man. Now, why would he do that? You know, my theory is his big donors, because he obviously has a big church. I think his big donors got to him, man, and said, hey, look, Chuck, you can't be talking about this flat earth stuff, man. Maybe the government, because the government owns all these 501c3 churches. They own them. COVID proved that. Shut your church down. Okay. Because they're going after mammon. They're serving mammon. That's what these churches are. They're just little businesses